DanielaClub.com, and today I have a very special guest with me. We are so privileged to speak with Jenny Bockerstedt, who is Amy's mom. Amy is my piano student, whom you just heard playing the melody by Robert Schumann on the piano so very well. Amy came to my piano studio 6 years ago, and she has come so far and accomplished so much. Amy's accomplishments are extremely uplifting and special because on a daily basis, she has to overcome obstacles that come with the fact that she was born with Down syndrome. She is fighting against odds that none of us will ever know, and she is proving to the world that the impossible can become possible. So today, we will talk with Amy's mom and find out how Amy got started in music and in piano, and how she is managing to accomplish all this, and how playing the piano is making a difference in her life. Hi, Jenny.
Hi, Daniela.
Well, thank you so much for being here today and for talking with us about your daughter's accomplishments on the piano.
Well, thank you for inviting me.
Yeah,
It's
you're very welcome.
pleasure.
Yeah. So, Jenny, when Amy was first born and you found out that she has Down syndrome, did you ever think that she would be able to play the music of Beethoven and Bach and Mozart and Schumann, just the music of all the great composers?
No, of course not. At that point, we were worried about would she learn to talk? Would she be able to learn to read? And that was our focus at that point. So it's pretty exciting that she's able to do that now.
Yeah, I'm very excited. As her teacher, I am just always getting goosebumps every time I'm thinking about Amy's accomplishments because they're just so amazing and so awesome. So tell us, when did Amy start playing the piano, and was that something that she wanted to do, or is that something that you just kind of envisioned for her?
Well, Amy has always loved music. And when she was about 9, I saw Sujit Desai play.
Yeah.
And he's a man with Down syndrome, as you know.
Right.
And that really inspired me, and I thought it would be wonderful if Amy, who loves music, would then be able to create music, to play music. So that's how it started. When she was about 9 and a half, we finally found someone to give her lessons.
Yeah. Yeah, I know Sujit Desai as well, and yeah, he's a very inspiring young concert pianist, and he was born with Down syndrome, and that's what inspired me as well to get Christina into music. So tell us a little bit about what kind of piano method Amy was using, or was she using any kind of particular piano method in the beginning, and who was teaching her, and how did her first teachers attempt to teach her?
Well, we lived in Indiana back then, and her first teacher was a music therapist that I found and who agreed to try this. And it was for piano lessons. It was not for music therapy. And her approach was, well, at that time, Amy needed to learn basic music concepts, you know. And so we focused on, and the teacher focused on, just being able to distinguish between what's a quarter note, what's a half note, what's a whole note, and how long do you hold those.
Right.
And so there was some experiential things, you know, movement around the house or around the music room.
That's awesome.
And at the music teacher's house or place. And then, so there was a lot of movement around learning the beat and the rhythm and how long to hold notes. And she even had phrases for things like hold it down really long. And I would say those things when Amy practiced.
It's awesome.
And then she was learning finger numbers at that point too, so that, and which is complicated. I mean, that's so it's that's where
like
we started.
the fine motor movements and stuff. Yeah. So yeah, that is really awesome that you were able to find someone that was willing to take on the task of teaching someone that has special needs and teach them all those basic things. That's really amazing. I love that there's people out there that want to try it, that want to do it, and so you were very lucky to have found someone at the very beginning for her. So tell us a little bit about your original room setup. I know that you had already shared with me that you had your piano, and it wasn't even a piano, it was a keyboard in the basement, and you lived in an area that was always kind of cold and was chilly down there. And so I don't want to take the story away, so just tell us a little bit about that setup and that whole story.
Well, actually, when Amy first started, we didn't even have a keyboard.
Oh.
But what's nice about keyboards is there's all different price points. So we
Right.
bought an inexpensive keyboard, and we put it in our family room, which was down in the basement, which was always chilly. And that's where she started to practice. It was, our hands would get cold, and
Practice with gloves.
but it worked. It was a place to play. And it wasn't a big keyboard, but it was something.
Yeah, and I love the fact that it didn't stop you to practice. It was cold, you didn't really have a piano, and you were just so committed and determined because you obviously knew that this is something you wanted to do and something that would be good for Amy. And so I love the fact that you were so determined to do it no matter what. So I know that there is a saying that goes something like along those lines, the time will never be quite right. And use the tools that you have right now, just begin, and better tools will be found along the way. And that's what happened to you. Like, she didn't even have a keyboard, and she just got an inexpensive keyboard. She put it in her cold cellar, her basement. Ooh. And they just were patient, they practiced, they started with what they had, and then eventually they bought a beautiful grand piano that I have seen it before, and it's just absolutely gorgeous, and it's sitting in their warm Arizona living room. And so that's how it goes. You start with what you have, and then better tools will be found along the way later. So you just basically lived by that motto, so to speak. So when you finally came to my piano studio, obviously Amy was a little older. She wasn't like this little girl anymore. She had matured. She was, I think, 12 years old, right, when she came to my studio?
Yes.
And she also already had a little background in music and in piano, and your practice environment has changed. Like, you went from the cold basement to a warm living room, and from a rinky-dink little keyboard to a beautiful grand piano. And so factoring all of this, like, the maturity, the environment, the teacher, the background, all those factors, how has her progress changed, and what can you say about that?
Her progress has really come along much more quickly now. And part of the reason is we are more diligent about practicing. And
practice every day.
Well, we don't practice every day. She doesn't practice
almost
every day, but it's a lot.
Yeah.
And
she does practice a lot. I know, because she comes super prepared to the lessons every week, and she has a good attitude too, which is like, I've never seen such a thing.
She really enjoys it. She
Yeah.
loves it.
But even the students who do enjoy it don't have a good attitude like every week, but without exception, she comes happy every single week. I mean, I'm like, wow. I mean, I want all my students to be like that, That's just such a blessing for a teacher to have a student that is always happy and always willing and always ready to work and always prepared and sure, I'll do it, and yes, I'm prepared, and yes, I practiced, and she's just a trooper,
She really enjoys coming for lessons, and she enjoys the piano, so that's nice. So her progress has really, come along a lot more quickly now, because we practice more frequently. She practices more frequently, and
do you feel like she gave you like some little bit more of a problem when the piano was in the basement? Do you think she was a little bit more unhappy about practicing, or was she like the same with being gung-ho on practicing?
Well, I've learned over time how best to work with her myself at home with her practices. And so what I've learned is, from the early days when going downstairs, we would be cold and it would be dark, but we would go anyway. We wouldn't go as frequently. We wouldn't do it as frequently. When I have some consistency with her about when it's time to practice, that's when it's no big deal.
Yeah.
Also, I keep the practices pretty short.
Yeah.
So that she knows it's going to be over soon enough too.
It's going to be over soon.
She's not always happy about having to practice because
Yeah.
she'd rather do. She'd rather watch something, one of her favorite shows, or
Yeah.
she'd rather go and dance. She loves to dance. Or we have a lot of other things that she does besides playing sports. So if we keep the practices short and we're pretty consistent about it, she's really good about coming and doing it. Plus, there's a lot of praise.
Right.
And she responds to that, which is wonderful. There's a lot of hugs during practices. I'll give her a hug. She'll play something well, and I'll compliment her, and she'll give me a hug.
Yeah.
Or she just knows she did it
I
really
know
well
she
and
loves
give me a
hugging.
hug.
She
Yes.
likes hugging me too.
So she feels it's a good time.
Yeah.
I mean, we enjoy spending that time together, and feel good about it when it's done. That you know,
Yeah.
she's able to do what
So
she's
you
able to
did
do.
something together, and you were loving toward each other, and yeah, and you both just feel good afterwards, which is so awesome. And yeah, as far as practicing goes, I know that there are a lot of famous concert artists that have said, I hated practicing and I really didn't want to do it, but I will thank my mother eternally for making me practice. So thank you, moms, for making your children practice, because in the long run, it is worth it. Because if it hadn't been for those moms, those concert artists would not be on those big stages today. We would not know them, and we would not enjoy their music today. So yes, again, thank you, moms. So that is really so heartwarming to hear that you guys are practicing together and you're having a good time together, and there is love and just community and something you guys are doing as a family. So yeah, I just love that story.
Thanks.
Okay, so now I would like to talk a little bit about what Amy's day looks like, and what time of the day does she practice? Does she practice every day? And you know, is she happy about her practicing? Can we just talk a little bit about when and how she practices?
Sure. Well, she's in school still, so that comes first, and
Right.
then we try to do piano practice as early in the day as we can, but sometimes during the school year it can't be that early because she plays golf after school. So
yeah, she's a good golfer.
so when golf is in season, we usually do it right after dinner,
Okay.
and you know, her dad does the dishes, which is
You mean
nice.
you don't get up at 4 in the morning and do it at 5 in the morning?
We'll do it after dinner.
Okay.
And then, but when golf isn't in season, then she'll do it. We'll have practice right after school, because earlier in the day she's just got more energy.
Yeah,
and she's a
like
little
all
bit
of us.
more alert, right? And then
Right.
it goes more smoothly. So by the end of the day, she's tired. So
Right.
and that's what the time of day that we usually do it.
Yeah.
On the weekends, I try to do it earlier since we don't have to worry about school. I usually try to keep it to, I don't time it or anything, but it seems like it's probably about 30 minutes to 45 minutes now at this stage.
Right.
When in the early years, it was much shorter.
Yeah.
You know, play this a
That's
couple of
amazing.
times.
45 minutes. Wow.
Well, it depends on what she's working on. Like if there's a
And I give her a lot.
complicated section. You do.
Technique, theory, pieces. Yeah, she has a lot.
So we work on the problem areas, and then try to play through as much as we can, only a couple of times.
Yeah.
So we really focus on the complicated things.
Right. Yeah, that's
but
good.
then
That's
still
good
keep the flow going.
practice habits. Yeah.
So that's the time of day, and that's kind of how we approach it. Does she ever complain? Yes, sometimes because she's tired, or there's something else she'd rather
Yeah.
do. But it works out.
Yeah. So just like all of us, you know, we have our days when we're happy, when we're not so happy, when we want to do things, when we don't want to do things, and we just make it work and use the time. But the important part is to use a consistent time, like that we know every day at 7, or every day from 5 to 6, or from 5 to 5:30, and then maybe one more time from 8 to 8:15, even if it's just 10 or 15 minutes. That's so important. Just be consistent, because practicing every day for even just 10 minutes, it is better than not practicing at all. because the brain still, is working and making those connections to be able to move the fingers and to remember new concepts. So yeah, just consistency is the key. So yeah, I have to commend her for being so diligent about the practicing, and they're just doing it, and they're great proof of what really can be done no matter what. So yeah, great example.
Thanks.
I'm sure there are a lot of parents out there, they don't even know how to get started and how to get their child to practice and how to find a good piano teacher or a teacher that is capable and able and willing to teach someone with a special need. So do you have any kind of advice for us on that?
We were stumped at first too. But I think a good way to get started is just to start asking around. And I wasn't sure who to ask, so that's why I called this music therapist.
Yeah.
And when I asked her about what I wanted to do and did she know anyone, she said, I'd like to try it.
Yeah,
so
awesome.
That was pretty exciting.
Yeah.
And I think her response has really been a philosophy of mine with Amy for a long time, and I learned this from somebody else. When you're trying something new, when you want to try something new with your child with special needs, ask someone, just try it.
Yeah.
But when she came back to me with that, I'd like to try it, that was nice.
Yeah.
Because then it's not this commitment necessarily at the
Right.
beginning. It's let's try it. And it went well. I mean,
Yeah,
everyone felt
awesome.
good about it. So that was good. What was the other part of your question?
Oh, and but before we go to the other part of the question, I wanted to let you know, if you don't know where to go, you can ask a local college or a local university. And the local Music Teachers Association is available for questions on that, like, finding different teachers in the area. Like, we have a National Music Teachers Association, and that is broken down into local, like statewide and then local associations. So we have the little local associations, and then we have the National Association of the Music Teachers. And if a music teacher is a member, that means they can be, like, their phone number and address can be found, and you can ask those organizations how to find a teacher. Now, the other part of my question is, like, yeah, how do you get them to practice? Like, I guess some people or some parents might be like, oh my gosh, I already have so much trouble getting them to sit down for homework and getting them to do anything. This would be just one more thing on my plate. How would you say you could get them to practice without tears and without screaming and tantrums? Any advice on how to get
I
someone
think
to
positive
practice?
reinforcement is probably the most important thing. Make it fun.
Yeah.
And consistency.
Yes.
Those are important. And Amy doesn't practice every day because she has a lot on her plate.
Yeah.
And if we can't do it, we can't do it. But
Right.
we try to do it as much as we can. And because of that, she knows it's just part of our routine. It's just part of her routine.
Yeah, we don't have to make it so rigorous, like, oh, it has to be every day, and then feel guilty like when you miss a little bit. I mean, that's the routine of a prodigy, of someone who wants to be a concert artist. Yeah, those people have to practice every day, and they feel it if they don't practice like one day. But for the rest of us, if we don't practice for 1 or 2 or even 3 days or a week, then that's fine, as long as we always go back to it and we just try the best we can do. And the other thing I wanted to let you guys know is, if in your area you can't find a piano teacher, or you just live maybe in a remote area where there are no teachers and you're not sure about the financial investment, because it is a financial investment to have a private one-to-one teacher, and you're not sure about even the time commitment, I have created an online piano program that you can check out on my website, and it is, a lot less expensive than a private teacher, and it is a way to kind of find out whether you like to make the financial end the time commitment for private piano lessons and see if this is even something your child and you want to commit to and want to do. So yeah, check out my online piano program on my website, which is www.danielaclapp.com. So I want to ask you and have you talk a little bit about the benefits that Amy has gained from playing the piano.
There's been quite a few. I think the one that, well, first of all, playing the piano, you're engaging your right brain and your left brain and your whole brain, which then translates into other areas. And
Exactly.
I think, so the cognitive benefits are definitely there. It helps her in school, it helps her with her sports. As you know, she plays golf, and before big matches, we usually have her play a piece, so that she's kind of kicked in to, you know, about what she needs to do. So, because it takes a lot of focus.
I've even heard math teachers and college professors, they have students, you know, like listen to a classical piece, and because it turns the brain on, and they do better with their testing.
So I think it helps her with school, with sports. Another area where there's really been a benefit is her confidence. And she's very proud of herself for what she's able to do on the piano.
Yeah, and she should be.
And she's played in some talent shows at school. And the other kids get to see another side of Amy, which is really nice. And know that there's more to her. There's more going on there. And they're proud of her, and she's proud of herself, and the applause she loves. We do shows sometimes.
So does Christina. She loves the applause and the attention that you get after an accomplishment like that.
She, sometimes when people come over for dinner or whatever to hang out, she'll do a show for them, and then there's more applause and positive reinforcement. So her confidence.
Private concerts.
Yes. Is
you could
really
start charging for it too.
So I think it's been beneficial in many ways.
Yeah, and the one thing that just caught my attention is you said it helps her sports. Wow, it helps the sports. Usually, especially in this country, in the United States, sports always trumps music. I mean, it's like people just go out of their way to do their sport, and they're not that willing most of the time to make time for the music. But wow, you know, I can't believe how you make her play a piece before the big golf match, and she plays piano before a big golf match. All you golfers out there, all you professional athletes, take piano lessons, play a piano piece before you go on the field, because you'll win the game for sure. Because Amy is an amazing golfer, right? I mean, she's in a professional team.
She plays varsity for a high school team.
Yeah, but that's like almost being professional, you know. She's been in the newspaper. She's been on the news with her golf stuff. I mean, yeah. So keep that in mind next time you go out for your athletic stuff. Piano will make it better. So yeah, I mean, that really caught my attention, because I think athletes never think about how music could actually make their sports better.
It really helps her focus.
Yeah. That is so amazing, because
both sides of her brain.
Yeah, because it is actually a proven fact that when you play the piano, 90% of your brain is engaged and fired up. Because I think there is no modality on this planet that does that. That brings, first of all, brings people together of all color and languages, brings the nations together. It brings peace. It makes you a better person, and no matter what culture you are, with music, you know, even if you don't speak that person's language, music speaks everybody's language. Makes me almost want to cry now, because music is just so awesome, because it speaks to all of us, and we all have it in our hearts, and it's the universal language. And it really does help our brains. Even Alzheimer's and dementia patients, when they hear their favorite song, they snap back into the real world, and they become almost like normal again because of music. So yeah, I mean, music is powerful. It's the most powerful tool in the universe, I think. So yeah, that's awesome. So Jenny, we're coming kind of to the end of our little interview here. Is there any kind of last advice you would like to give to parents of special needs children and caregivers and just any other teachers and people that are just involved in a special needs community, and any kind of advice you can give about, piano playing and,
Well, first and foremost, for us, it was not something like she's got to be an expert now.
Yeah.
So just take your time with it and be patient and give your child the opportunity to grow, and at their own pace.
Yeah.
And everyone's pace is different.
Right.
And other than that, just try it. It's really worth it. There's so many benefits. It's great one-on-one time that I feel I have with Amy. And she enjoys it. She's really proud of herself, and she's just so much more confident. And it's helped her in so many other areas.
Yeah, the confidence is really, heart-wrenching to me, because the children with Down syndrome get ignored and neglected and excluded a lot, and we don't have faith in them that they could do anything. But when they come on stage and play a fairly complicated piece on the piano, that lets them see that all is possible for any of us, and especially for kids with special needs, and that helps them to be included and to be seen, and to just boost their confidence, because it just breaks my heart when I see them sad, and when they feel like they're not part of our community, but they are part of our community, and music, just like I said before, it unites all of us. So yeah, just take her advice and just try it. So Jenny, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for all your advice and for all your answers, and for just being such a great mom to Amy.
Well, my pleasure to be here, and thank you, Daniela. Everything that you've done for Amy for the last 6 years has really been an important part of who she is today. And so thank you very much.
You're very welcome. Wow, it's been 6 years that Amy's been with me. Time just flies when you're having fun. Mm. So yeah, you're very welcome, and thank you for being just an awesome piano parent.